Good morning. It is Monday morning, Halloween, and we are going to read Ephesians 5. No, Ephesians 6. I'm sorry, Ephesians 6, 1 through 9. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise, that it may go well with you and that you may live long in the land. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Servants, obey your earthly masters with fear and trembling, with a sincere heart, as you would Christ, not by way of eye service as people pleasers, but as bondservants of Christ, doing the will of God from the heart, rendering service with a good will as to the Lord and not to man, knowing that whatever good anyone does, that this he will receive back from the Lord, whether he is a bondservant or is free. Masters, do the same to them. Stop your threatening, knowing that he who is both their master and yours is in heaven, and that there is no partiality with him. So first we had everybody submit yourself to everybody else, all right? And then we had wives and husbands, submit yourselves to each other. Then we've had children and fathers, mothers too, I suppose. And now we've got masters and slaves. And so everybody is supposed to be submitting themselves to everyone else. And in each particular situation, he has some comments to make. Servants are not supposed to just, sort of do what they know pleases the master and surfacey kinds of things, but really serve the master as though you're serving Jesus. And masters, know that service is coming to you, and that you should that you both have a master in heaven, that's Jesus, and that you should be appreciative of what they're doing, and that you should be kind as well. And fathers, don't provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord, in the admonition and the nurture of the Lord, as they used to say in the Southern Presbyterian Church. But that was a long time ago. So, first thing we see is that this is not a statement in Ephesians that wives are to submit themselves to their husbands in every circumstance and never have an opinion about anything. That the husband is head of you and you should just shut up and listen. That is wrong, frankly. That's just completely wrong. It doesn't reflect what's in the actual passage. And that's the way some people want to interpret all this, but it's wrong. What we're going to say is that, wives and husbands, submit yourselves to each other. Children and parents, submit yourselves to each other. Masters and slaves, submit yourselves to each other, each in your own particular way. Okay? So children and parents, it's different from wives and husbands. Master and slave, it's different from children and parents. But we're all doing this submission so that we all get the benefits of living in this community of mutual submission and love. Now he's going to go on to say some other things here to close out the book, and we'll get to those in the next few days. But what I want to say to you is that if you've been taught that a wife should shut up and obey her husband, that's just not correct. And you need to think about that. And I would say this, think about how you actually behave. I mean, we say that in church, but some people say it in church, but the rest of the time, do you actually act that way? Do you actually do those things? Or do you have a different way of being? And if if you're not actually doing those things, well, let's look at why not. Why are you not doing that? Why are you not submitting to every word your husband says? Well, because he's crazy, or because he's a drunk, or because he's got these wacky ideas about this and that and the other, or something. So if you can identify why you're not obeying your husband in every notion that comes out of his mouth, then maybe you need to look hard at this Ephesians passage and see what it actually is saying, because it doesn't say that you should obey everything that happens to fall out of a man's mouth. It's because about 2/3 of what we say, we don't know what we're talking about. We just blah. It's just coming out, and at least some of us recognize that women have an opinion that's worthwhile, and we want to hear your opinion, and we want to know what you think as together we go forward. So I hope that's a word of hope for you today, and if you're already there, good. Maintain your position, but whatever position you're in, I want you to have a great day. But think about what Paul is really saying here.